Hello everyone and welcome to another Muffin video. Before we dive in here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell and drop a like on the video too if you're enjoying the content. Don't forget to join our Discord server as well if you're not already there. The link is in the description down below. We've also activated our channel membership which comes with all kinds of perks, so check that out if you're interested in joining. And speaking of channel membership, I do want to take a moment to give a special shout out to our current members. So thanks to all of you, and I hope you're enjoying the benefits. And finally, a reminder that all comments on every video will be automatically entered into our weekly giveaways. Winners will be randomly selected every Monday. So good luck, and let's get this started.
Well, it's somewhat hard to believe, but the time is in fact upon us. Class Change 3 is right around the corner, at least for Server 1. If we hop into here to the Path of Heroes and Heroes Chronicle, you will see that we're just around 3 days from getting to Class Change 3, at least on Server 1, which means the rest of the servers are not too far behind. So, let's go through some of the aspects of Class Change 3 that you should know, maybe if you're a newer player that you're not aware of, or just a reminder if you're an older player. So starting off, I wanted to take a little recap of the Class Change 3 visuals that are coming up so we can see exactly what is in store for us. So let's start by taking a look at this video that has the preview of the 5 Class Change 3s. So let's take a look now. So we're going to be starting off with the Shadow Lash Class Change 3, which is a very interesting class visually as it is centered around this massive spinning wheel of doom. The Thunder Chakram, I believe it's called. So this is absolutely epic. Like, take a look at this ability. Now, I've heard from some people that Class Change 3 is not one of the most powerful for Shadow Lash, but I guess we'll have to see. Next up, we have the Wayfarer Class Change 3. And let's see what they have here. Oh my goodness. I don't know how they managed to do it, but Wayfarer somehow always has the coolest looking visuals. So this Wayfarer you can see is like a red, sort of a dark reddish aura. Quite interesting. Hard to really tell exactly what type of class it is, as it seems to be not a lot of AoE, maybe more single target focused, but I guess we'll find out. Next up we have the Scholar. So Class Change 3 Scholar, let's see. Oh, okay. Not bad. Wow, that's actually really cool visually. So it looks like this is some kind of space-time mage of some kind. You can see sending black holes at the enemies. That's actually a very cool visual style. I like this one. Let's look at the Scholar again. Yeah, I like this visual style. I mean, if you're a Scholar, this looks really epic. Very nice. So Scholars are looking pretty sweet in Class Change, not gonna lie. Hopefully they'll be a bit stronger too, as I know a lot of people have complained about Scholar's Class Change too. Now we have the Acolyte, which is very much looking like it's going to be focused on some sort of regrowth. Well, this is interesting. These abilities could be some kind of, I don't know if there's any support element to them, but they're definitely focused on plants and trees and this type of visual style. So not the most epic class change we've seen for the Acolyte. And finally, we have the Sword Bearer. Let's take a look at how our trusty tank is doing in Class Change 3. Oh man, very destructive, fiery. That's pretty cool. So these are the visuals of all the classes. And yeah, I think that for me, the coolest looking one is going to be between the Shadow Lash and probably the Scholar, I think, are the two coolest looking Class Change 3s. So now that we have that established, let's now take a browse through some parts of the game so you'll understand what things you should be aware of and some things to remember. So the first thing, of course, is going to be the topic of skill summoning. So as I'm sure you're more than aware, every class change has its own skill summoning material. So your previous class change summoning material won't work in the new class change. So the newest one we have in Class Change 3 is this Star Stanza, which is somewhat limited availability right now. The place that I've seen the most of these come from right now, if you look in the journal and achievements, you'll see, depending on how far you've progressed your achievements, some of these sections will in fact start giving these Star Stanza, the Class Change 3 rewards, but it looks like just growth for the time being. So we'll have more sources to get these, but as always, you're going to basically just save your previous class change summoning tickets for good paper plane weeks if you're a free-to-play player. You don't need to save them specifically for class change 3 because they won't work. It is a separate summon. Now, one little tip is that right after class change 3 comes out, 1 week later we have another very good paper plane week that's going to be again artifact focused. So depending on your patience and ability to wait to push your progression a little bit, it might be worth it if you're a free-to-play player to actually not use your class change 3 material right when class change 3 releases, but rather hold off and use them after a week has gone by for the 14th week of paper plane, which is also going to be an artifact focused week. That might honestly be a little sort of tip and trick to optimally use these materials and not just blast them right away as soon as the class change comes, as that week's paper plane is not the best you've ever seen. So that's a little tip that you might keep in the back of your mind if you're patient enough to wait for that. Now, one more thing that's good to know is that very soon after we unlock Class Change 3, we are actually going to be unlocking a new region here, the Nightless City at 49-2. So if you have not already, it would be absolutely worth it to start saving up your recharge crystals. Obviously, as you can see here, I have not done so, so I have very few of these. Normally I would be saving these up for quite a long time for a new region, but I have not been due to me trying to pursue a few artifact goals in the meantime. So definitely, if you're a ways from Class Change 3, it might be worth starting to save these, and if you're coming up on like server 1, 2, and 3, it's still worth saving these, just so you get a little jump when the new region is unlocked. Now this will unlock approximately, I would say maybe 1 week or so after the Class Change 3 is open, so that's something to definitely keep in mind. Now next up, something that you need to be aware for Class Change 3 is that you will require EXP potions to hit level caps in this class change. Now, until now, you have not really had a strict requirement to use XP pots in the game. It is good in order to progress faster, and it's really useful in the early game, like Class Change 0, in the sense that you can progress faster and unlock systems faster, therefore you can start progressing those systems as soon as you unlock them. But as you progress later into the game, the main benefit of boosting using EXP boosters is simply to level faster and unlock new rifts faster, therefore to be able to participate in new trials and other content like that faster. But in Class Change 3, this is the first time where you're actually going to have to use EXP boosters in order to reach a level cap before it goes away. So normally, you know, when we're at a level cap as we are now, it stays capped for maybe 1, 2, or 3 days. And generally speaking, most people until now have been able to catch up to this cap regardless of how many EXP potions they've been using. But starting in Class Change 3, like I said, you're going to have to use EXP potions to reach the cap before it opens up again. So this is the first time where you will see a gap between people who use and don't use EXP boosters regularly. Now, if you have the monthly pass, which some may know gives additional EXP and gold, if you have the monthly pass, then you will only need 30 EXP pots to reach the first level cap before it unlocks. If you don't have the monthly booster, then you're going to need 60 of them. So definitely check the amount of EXP potions you have in your inventory right now. You can see I have 25 saved up, so I'm going to have the required 30 in order to hit that first cap, the first level cap, before it unlocks. So definitely that's something important to keep in mind, which is a change for this class change compared to previous ones where you've been able to reach that cap regardless of how many XP pots you've used. So the next very important thing you have to keep in mind is something hopefully you have already known about, but if not, it's good to know about now, and that is cat buns. Now, cat buns are all about several aspects, but one of the important aspects is this flavor right here. And these flavors, the recommended flavors, change based on your current class's element. So right now, as you can see here, I'm using a fire damage element, which is the element for my current class, the Nightweaver. However, my next class is actually no longer going to be fire element. And if you want to know how you can preview what your next class change element is going to be, when you're in your info page, click on the class change quest here, and then click here, and you'll be able to click on the skill, and it'll say the element of your main skill here that you can then use to base which cat bun flavors you're going to need to start collecting for your next class change. And you can see the main talent disc as well here. For me, as a Shadow Enforcer, it's going to be a Thunder class. So if you go back into cat buns, you're going to see in the flavor recommendation, if you click on them, that the recommended flavors here are going to be nature, fire, etc. So for me, I would go for the Thunder one. So for my Shadow Enforcer, I'm going to get Benevolent and Meowie. So Benevolent and Meowie are going to be my best in slot for Class Change 3. Therefore, whenever I'm fusing cat buns, I'm going to make sure that I'm not accidentally fusing a cat bun that's actually really good for my Class Change 3. So definitely check before you fuse away your cat buns to make sure you're not fusing a really good one for your third class change. So that's a very important tip, as I'm sure you're well aware, class buns are unfortunately a bit of a pain. Now, the final tip I want to give before closing out the video is, of course, the recasting materials, the raw materials. By now, if you're closing in on level 130, 131, 132, even if you see some potential optimizations in your gear, it might actually be worth saying, do you know what? I'm not going to chase that extra 1 or 2 levels of haste or mastery in my gear. I'm going to in fact save up my raw materials, because obviously when we get a new class change, we are going to get a new set of gear. Now, as I've said in previous videos, moving forward, all of our gear equipment will be going from full 6 of 6 set to the new full 6 of 6 set. So it's actually very important that you save up more raw materials than you have had to before, because you're not going to be transitioning into 6-6, then 2-4, then 2-2-2 maybe. You're going to go from 6-6 to 6-6. So you're not going to equip the new set until you can actually equip the full 6 out of 6 legendary version of it. So because of that, you're going to need to prep all 6 pieces of gear in order for you to equip them. Before, we've been able to sort of stagger it a bit. Okay, we'll work on these 2 pieces first and collect more raw materials, and then work on 2 more pieces. But here you're going to have to prep all 6 pieces right ahead of time in order to progress to the next gear set. So definitely you're going to need to save quite a lot of raw materials in order to achieve that. So that's basically everything you need to know for Class Change 3. I may have forgotten a few things, but I think that touches on the main topics. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're excited as I am for Class Change 3 and looking forward to all the new things coming our way. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.